They're hearing aids, and I would have never been able to afford them, but through the Affordable Care Act, I got these.
I got a letter that said that because of the Affordable Health Care Act, we can no longer provide you with insurance. Obama said that if you like your insurance, you can keep it.
It's a sad situation when people like my mom avoid health care because of money issues and then end up with diagnoses that are too grave to deal with.
Back then, it really felt like fishing bodies out of the river.
Hi Nancy, this is Claudia Linhoff from Champaign County Healthcare Consumers, returning your call at long last.
Before the Affordable Care Act, so much of our client work focused on trying to help people with really impossible situations, people who had major health crises, who didn't have health insurance, or lost their health insurance because of those crises, or had never had health insurance because they couldn't afford it. We had clients who had diagnoses anywhere from cancer to they had had a massive heart attack, or I remember a lady who had really, really severe fibroids. So a lot of our work was when their health situation got so bad that they absolutely needed health care but didn't know where to go to get it or how they were going to afford it. You know, the stakes were very high. One that comes to mind is a lady who, she would have these occasional falls.
My mom did not have a regular physician. Starting in 2008 and then in 2009, she kept falling periodically. And in May of 2009, she called me up and told me that she had another really hard fall and that she thinks she might need to go to the hospital. So I went over to her house and she had a terrible black eye. She looked like somebody hit her with a baseball bat. And so we took her in that May of 2009 to get her eye looked at, and the doctor within an hour came back and told her that she had stage 4 lung cancer and that it had metastatized to her brain, and she had over 10 tumors in her brain. And she died about a month later. I think if Mom had preventative care and had regular checkups and had been able to access health care without having to worry about getting billed too much or racking up bills that she couldn't afford, she was so terrified of that stuff that she avoided regular routine checkups. And certainly this could have been something that could have been caught, or had it been caught early, we might have had a better chance at fighting it.
Now we still see a lot of clients, and in fact we see more clients, but it's completely different because now we're helping people sign up for health insurance. We help them get connected with a primary care physician or a specialist, and we sort of send them on their way. But I don't have to call and beg a doctor to take my client pro bono. Now they sort of have a passport, thanks to the Affordable Care Act and the Medicaid expansion and all that. They sort of have a passport to get into the care that they need. If the Affordable Care Act went away, it would be devastating.
I used to work. I've been working since I was 16 years old. I've always had a job. I was hoping and praying that I would have a job where I could even afford my own insurance. But even with when I was working, I wasn't able to afford it. It was either pay the insurance and not be able to pay bills, or either pay bills and not have the insurance. So we still ended up having to apply for Medicaid. Obamacare is wonderful. It's for working for the people that can't afford the insurance. No one ever expects to become diabetic or, like me, chronic pain. Never would have expected it 10 years back that I would be living today with chronic pain, but it's my fate. No matter what I was doing, if I was doing something in the house or outside the house, I just started dealing, my back would start hurting. After my children got to be a certain age, they had a part where they said that they were going to cut it out, but then Obamacare popped in. So then that was a blessing because I was still able to see all my primary care physicians, and now I'm still seeing them. I always have to have someone with me, one of my family members there helping me, because it's a lot of things that I can't just do anymore. Every day is just a struggle.
I'm grateful for Obamacare because it forced me to do something out of desperation. In September of 2014, I got a letter that said that because of the Affordable Health Care Act, we can no longer provide you with insurance. So the bronze plan for me had $600 for me and the 2 kids and $13,000 deductible. We had an opportunity to put Obamacare into practice because my daughter had a physical. It was a mandatory physical that her school, the school system required. So we went to the doctor that we had been going to, and I submitted the claim, and they denied it. They said that it was out of network. Once you're into it, they won't let you out. So I was trapped with Obamacare for an entire year. I found something that is the best healthcare coverage that I could ever imagine. There are religious groups that have set up a sharing situation where everybody shares their bills. I bought the Cadillac policy. Last fall, my daughter was competing with her marching band at Memorial Stadium on the U of I campus, and she fell with her bass drum that she was carrying. They covered everything over $1,000. Obama said that if you like your insurance, you can keep it. I was disappointed that I was lied to. It doubled my premium. So I just don't see how that can be called the Affordable Health Care Act. It needs to be repealed.
My understanding was the reason the Affordable Care Act was going to work is because healthy young people were going to go out and get insurance and pay a premium that wasn't going to get used because they were healthy young people, and that money in the system was going to keep the rates down for everyone else, and it just didn't work that way. My uncle on my mother's side is Dick Butler. He started the business, just him and one truck, and grew, got a good reputation. We are almost probably 85 or 90% residential roofing. I care about what happens to these guys when they go home. As a small business, we are small enough that we do not have to offer insurance. But we do have, at this time, one key employee, my foreman, and part of his employment package is that I reimburse him for his insurance.
I'm a foreman here at Dick Butler Roofing. My name is Bill Ballman.
When we first started reimbursing Bill for his insurance, we were under $400 for a long time. And now we're well over $700 a month. We can expense it out of the business, but we can only deduct up to $7,900, I believe. So it's better because it's now, going against my profits, but it's still a huge expense, especially compared to what it was before the Affordable Care Act.
He was willing to do anything he can for me. I mean, being such a small company, he doesn't have the finances to be able to do like big companies do. And that's one thing. He came to me. I didn't even ask for it. He came straight to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to pay your insurance," which was great, and because I couldn't afford it. I mean, it was just $730-some a month.
If I wasn't paying for his insurance, I mean, he's an intelligent guy. He would know that he needs insurance.
I mean, I don't expect anything to be free. I mean, I really don't.
And he'd probably say, "Look, I'm going to have to buy my own insurance. I either need a raise or I'm going to have to start looking for another job," because that's a huge part of your monthly take. I mean, for a lot of people, that's more than a week. The Affordable Care Act made all of us that have been paying for insurance all of our life pay lots more. It's sort of like trying to balance the budget on the shoulders of rich people, and you can't do that. We all are in this together. And, you know, so it's kind of a slap in the face to call it the Affordable Care Act when you're someone like Bill that 10 years ago paid $230 a month and now his premium is $730 a month. It's not implemented correctly, it was never written correctly, it's a political thing, it's not a healthcare thing, and that's what's sad.
I was very fortunate most of my adult life not to need healthcare assistance. But as I've gotten older, I'm starting to fall apart a little bit. My name is James Bean. Jammin' Jimmy Bean is my professional stage name, and I am a local resident here in Urbana, Illinois. The last time that I had insurance before the Affordable Care Act was when I was in the military. I'm basically deaf, have these now because of the Affordable Care Act. Yeah, I was really emotional about it when I first got them. I remember just hearing the wind blow through the trees and hearing the leaves. I got these just in time to be at my youngest daughter's wedding. I got to hear her vows, actually, so it was neat. Man, I was living with pain, you know, and with tooth pain ever since I was in my 20s. And I could not afford to have it, you know, dealt with. I had some major extractions and then eventually a full denture on top and a partial denture on bottom done. You know, certainly without some of these major operations that I've done, I would have had to just stop performing entirely because it was getting that bad. The pain was getting that bad, not to mention the fact that I was getting embarrassed about the way my smile looked. I would see pictures of myself on Facebook or whatever and go, whoa, wait a minute, don't take a picture from that angle, you see where I'm missing a tooth back there or whatever. That's been awesome though, right? That I smile again, man. I didn't smile for a long, long time. I feel very, very fortunate and blessed, if you want to call it that, that I made it through, you know. A lot of my friends didn't.